The U.S. House has announced it is moving forward with an attempt to impeach President Trump for a second time after the riots at the Capitol last week. Social media companies are also cracking down on the president. Here to talk about this is Ed Espinoza from Progress, Texas, and Brian Ruddle with the Travis County GOP. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So Democrats in the U.S. House want to punish President Trump for his Washington, D.C. rally that preceded the attack on the Capitol building. Now, there is a push for Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment, which would remove Trump from office. Ed, do you think impeachment or removal is necessary, or will this divide the country further?
Look, it's absolutely necessary, and I would challenge the premise of the question. It's not just Democrats. You've had Republicans in the U.S. Senate also say that this is necessary. Republican Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania, Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. But look, the country is already divided, but what many people in America believe is that there has to be consequences for this behavior, for the violence, the insurrection, and the murder. 5 people died, including a Capitol police officer. There have to be consequences for these actions. And if there are not consequences, what's to stop it from happening again? This is an attack on our government by people who are pushing conspiracy theories. There has to be some sort of accountability for this behavior.
And Brian, what are your thoughts? What type of accountability should there be?
You know, I'm not sure that impeachment is the best route to go. We only have 9 more days of this president's term. I believe that there are things that Congress can do to help make sure that some of his actions could be restrained. Obviously, President has been kicked off of his social media platforms, which were, many people felt, instigated, some of these actions at the Capitol, which, hopefully can stop some of these things from going forward. I'm not sure if removing him from office will help calm the country. I think right now we as Americans need to, take a deep breath. Obviously, what we saw in D.C., reprehensible, awful. But I think we want to make sure that, we as Americans can still have some bonds to be able to come together after this.
And because of concerns about inciting violence, further violence, President Trump has been silenced on Twitter, Facebook, and other social media. And also the far right side Parler is being suspended too. Do you agree with the social media platforms doing this? Some people are saying they're violating the president's free speech.
I do agree with what they've done, because it's not just a matter of free speech. It's a matter of inciting people to do things. Now, of course, we all have a right to free speech, but we also know that there are limits on speech. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You also can't use these platforms to incite people to do things. And that is what Donald Trump has been doing. And by the way, taking him off of Twitter and Facebook is not a justifiable response to the things that he has brought about. Keep in mind that if he's impeached, that means he doesn't get a presidential salary for the rest of his life. That's an important consequence as well. So I think that those are things that we should consider in the broader picture here.
Yeah, also something to consider. These social media companies are private. It's not the government censoring what is being said.
That's right.
Brian, what is your final thought on all of this?
Obviously, Twitter, Facebook, they are private companies. They have the right to do some of these actions. However, I will note that Twitter is not taking the Ayatollahs in Iran off this. They're not taking some of the worst folks, who advocate anti-Semitic actions across the world. They're not taking action and removing those individuals. I think that, these companies can do it. There is an obvious bias, I think, in America towards a certain segment of the population.
All right. Brian, Ed, thank you both for sharing your perspectives with us tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you.